not working together.
We're being smashed!
This battle will be over soon.
These roads intersect, on each one I reflect. These lines write my story.
Welcome everyone. I'm One True Brick, coming back again with another LEGO Exo-Force review. This is set number 7702, the Thunder Fury. It was released in 2006, retailed for about $15, and with 197 pieces, the highest piece count of the $15 sets. Now, oddly enough, despite having the most pieces, this set is probably the easiest to obtain out of all of the $15 sets. Right now, it retails, it goes on eBay and Bricklink for about $10 to $15. So if you snag it now, you'll be able to get this one for the cheapest out of all of them. So once again, similar to the last robot battle machine we looked at, the Fire Vulture, this battle machine has a lot of black in the color scheme. It's got this dark industrial kind of look to it, and it even has more black and dark gray than the Fire Vulture did, whereas the Fire Vulture had some blue pieces up here in the torso. This is almost exclusively black with a few bits of dark red sprinkled throughout. In addition to that, there is a dual injected black and red Vaki staff, so similar to the other sets, there is that mocking potential with that particular piece, and of course, I'm sure there are a few other pieces in here that are new recolors to the set. So something to note about this set is it has some interesting way of going about positioning the weapons. So in the instruction manual, there's actually, this set has been shown to have 3 different ways of posing that weapon. On the cover of the instruction manual, you can see it's actually positioned so this Technic lift arm is going downwards. Then in the actual instructions, if we flip ahead to the part where it tells us to build it, right here, it shows to have it off to the side like this. But then, the way that I personally prefer it to be positioned and the way that it's shown in the comics is to actually have it slightly up, over the shoulder, kind of like a rocket launcher. And I find that to be kind of frustrating that it shows you how to do that, because as far as I know, this cable is already really tight, and if you were to try and position it off to the side or downwards, it wouldn't actually like attach in a comfortable way that you could still get the full range of motion, which is kind of annoying. So, and then there's actually one other small mistake that they made in the instructions. On the cover here, you will see that there is a sticker on this piece right here, but in fact, there is no sticker shown in the instructions, and there's no sticker included to go down there, which is kind of odd. This instruction manual is kind of full of little bits of mistakes here and there, and so I'd be wary as you construct the set to keep an eye out for those. As is pretty common with these Exo-Force sets is numerous amounts of stickers. Once again, they have a tendency to fall off or fray over time, especially as you can see with the one that's up there. But that's just kind of what you get when you buy a set like this. And you also do get that ability to place the stickers on other pieces if you want to create a unique design, and I do enjoy that potential, even if it is a little bit frustrating when they start to fray. So, in terms of functionality, the set has the standard shoulder, elbow, hip, knee, and ankle joints. The only exception to this is this joint right here, while technically movable, is very, it only rotates rather than moving up and down, so one less point of articulation than is in a typical one, but it's kind of to be expected considering the weapon is a giant gun. So, and then in addition to that, you also get some rotation with this if you want to. Overall, this build is probably, I hesitate to say the weakest because it depends on what use you're planning on using it for, but I will say this is probably the weakest build of the $15 sets in terms of being able to hold up against drops and being stored. These pieces don't really have any support, and so you end up having parts falling off like that. Then these sort of antenna pieces at the back here, this fan of harpoons, also has a tendency to fall off. In fact, they are not actually able to attach even all the way. They are just barely hanging on there and had a likelihood of falling off. Well, the front of this cannon has axle pieces throughout it. The back does not, and so this piece had a tendency to fall off. And then in addition to that, the front Gatling gun, if I can get that back on, the front Gatling gun right here was also only attached by one stud. So this is probably the most fragile set. See, right there's an example of that. This is the most fragile set of the $15 sets, and so that may explain why it is the lowest priced one currently. I don't think it completely detracts from the entire set, though. If you're planning on setting it up on a shelf or something, it's not like it's going to fall over if dust falls on top of it. It still holds up, just maybe not as well when you're either storing it or if it were to be dropped. So it's the most intimidating model. All of the other battle machines kind of have this 1, 2, maybe 3 studs worth of thickness. This one extends a full 6 studs out right here, and even like probably 8 when we get to including the Gatling gun as well. So it's very menacing, very bulky. In fact, they even actually had to add little pieces on the toes. The Grand Titan has a spot where you could put them if you wanted to, but the actual set does not include these pieces on the front, and without them, it is a lot more likely to fall over. So that was a nice design change. Another odd thing to note, there is actually a piece right here, a little grill, that I think adds good coverage on top of those studs, but isn't included in any other set, so that's a little bit of an odd differentiation between them, but it's there. Also, in terms of functionality, of course, you get the different movable parts. Probably the most notable is that you can use a certain piece, and I will show you guys with the lights off. If you've seen the other reviews, you kind of know what's coming next. There is a lever on the back that you can press down on, and it will activate a function. If I can, reach it, and it allows you to light that up there, activating a tube and then shining down to a laser sight on the Gatling gun up there. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this guy to stand back up again as I turn the lights back on. Hey, see, it survived, albeit with a little bit of bending in that arm there. So one of the greatest appeals of these sets, of course, is the alternate models and minifigure. So I'm going to take a quick look at the minifigure here. You can technically pull the minifigure just straight up and out. I prefer to take off this front piece right here in order to access him a little bit better. Whoop. Gotta put that back on. So, similar to how the Fire Vulture had a blue Devastator inside, this one has a dual molded silver and red one, so you can see bits of red in there, and it's pretty similar to the same one, the one in the Fire Vulture. It has movement in the shoulder, the hands can rotate, the legs are notably wider, so if you are intending to use that for mocking purposes, keep that in mind. It also can't sit down all the way, and this one does include a red axle in the head, despite not having one included in the Fire Vulture, so it looks like it has eyes. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy back. Now this set, like others, includes a variety of alternative models and combo models, the most notable of which can be found in the back of the instructions. Once again, there's the instructions. On the last page, you will see it includes look at this battle machine that can be built by combining it with the Fire Vulture, and this machine is called the Raging Storm. Something to note, that is one of, if not the first, robot battle machine to feature 2 Devastators inside, where most only had one. And the alternative model for the Grand Titan and Stealth Hunter is allowed only one pilot. So something that I mention in each of my videos, as you can see, these light pieces have a tendency to die even after a couple years of use, and sometimes even brand new sets now have dead batteries in them. Now, this is actually a very easy fix once I figured out how to do it. You replace the batteries with CR9273 volt batteries. You can get about 15 of them for $10 or so online, and you can quite easily replace the piece. So you just need a screwdriver to pull down some tabs here, here, and here, and you can pop out the battery and stick a new one in, and it's good as new. I will be posting a video pretty soon on the channel that will go through the detailed steps of doing it, but once you understand how to do it, it takes about 30 seconds to replace the battery, so not too bad. So now that we're done with the review, one of the other things I like to do is go over some of the story relevance of these battle machines. So the Thunder Fury was probably the most powerful standard battle machine used in the robot army. While Fire Vultures and Sentries were pretty numerous, you would rarely see more than maybe one or two of these in a single battle. It is originally built for mining like the Fire Vulture was. It didn't have a giant weapon like this, probably still had the saw, and was used in order to do mining purposes before the robots rebelled, the mountains split, and the whole war began. It was often a squad commander in invasions until the final battle, so like I said, it being the most powerful standard production, lowest production battle machine, it was probably only seen once or twice and usually was in charge of a fight, but on occasion, especially later in the war, there were numerous ones that went to battle against the Exo-Force team members. Something else to note is this blade right here was actually a buzzsaw, so when it made contact with an enemy weapon or an enemy battle machine, it could actually saw its way right through it, and it was rated to be able to cut through about 5 inches of standard armor. So that's something I found interesting. And with that, I thank you guys very much for taking a look at this video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next week when I review one of the smaller battle machines, the Exo-Force battle machine Uplink. Thanks. Bye. You could rotate the arms all the way around, kind of have some dynamic poses. And the legs in particular have this double ratcheted joint in the hip